Greetings and welcome to Utique Lifestyle. This is a wardrobe planning series in collaboration with So Much Fabric, where fabric is sewn into fashion. This is a time-lapse video on how I sewed my bathing suit cover-up that doubles as a dress. The goal was to design a cover-up that went well with my bathing suit, and then completely change the look up to wear as a dress. So for this project, Rosalind brought over the fabric and we played with the different lengths and also see how the scalloped edge can lay out. To create the toile for the cover-up, I modified the one I used for my red lace blouse and skirt. I basically just shortened the blouse and then widened and lengthened the skirt hem. After sewing the muslin together, I did get fitted and had some minor adjustments made. So this is the toile for my cover-up. This is the general process of how I completed this sewing project. First, I laid out the toile, pin, and cut. I did this for the bodice, the waist, and the skirt. Here are the fashion fabric pieces. Next, I'm going to sew the darts on the bodice and the skirt, using the same general process. Now I'm going to sew on the bias binding along the neckline. I pinned the bias along the right side of the fashion fabric and then sewed it. Then I folded the bias binding over the neckline and ironed it down. And here I slip stitched it because I didn't want the sewing lines on the right side of the fabric. For the skirt placket, I ironed on the interfacing, thread traced the center line, and then using my chalk I traced the folding lines. I created a concealed button placket when I sewed my chambray shirt, so feel free to get the link in the description box below. Here I'm going to start ironing the folding lines. Now I will flip it over and pin, and sew down the center. Next, the pockets have been sewn on and I'm going to iron them facing out. With right sides facing each other, I'm going to lay the front skirt on top of the back skirt and sew. Now that it's sewn together, I'm going to open it up and iron. At this stage, I'm going to sew the bodice pieces together. Here, with right side facing each other, I'm going to sew the shoulder seams. I'm going to open it up and then sew on the sleeves. However, before I sew the sides together, I'm going to add bias binding along the armhole. When I'm complete with that, I'm going to sew along the sides. Now I'm going to add bias binding along the sides of the bodice. I have now attached the bodice to the skirt and will add bias binding along the pocket and the side skirt. And when it was completed, it was just so clean and beautiful, in my opinion. What do you think? Next, I added snap buttons onto the placket. Here is a sample of how I use the snap fastener tool. I pushed in the spiky side of the prong and then lay it onto the tool and then close it down. With the side that protrudes more, I'm going to lay that facing down, then close it down and hammer. For the other side, again, use the sharp prong, puncture the fabric, lay the button inside facing up, close and hammer. And now you have a snap button. I'm going to add the snap buttons to the rest of my placket. Here I would fold the hem and iron it and then hand stitch all the way around the hem. This process took me a while, but I thought it was worth it. For the sash, I doubled the width that I wanted, and because the sash was fairly long, I cut out 2 pieces of fabric. I would sew it together at the center and then fold it over, sew, and then create the sash. Ended up making some custom snap buttons because if it was worn open, I wanted the snap buttons to look embellished. I just purchased some scrapbooking embellishments and removed the sticky residue on the back, then added the glue onto the snap fastener and placed the button on top. I allowed the glue to dry for 48 hours to make sure it was secure. And now I have the option of leaving it as it is or placing embellished buttons. I am now complete with the bathing suit cover-up and the dress. To be honest, I knew it was going to be beautiful as a bathing suit cover-up, but I wasn't sure how multifunctional it would be as a dress. I was a little concerned about the plunging neckline on myself. I shared my concern with Roz, and she set up an appointment and helped me style the cover-up. I now saw the many possibilities of wearing it as a dress and as a duster. I put so much time into it that I wanted to make sure I was able to get a lot of wear from it. Here are some of the outfits we were able to put together. I'm so happy I got to wear it as a cover-up and as a dress on a recent trip. Photo credits to my niece Teresa, who is an up-and-coming creative artist. Also, for beautiful fabric and notions, don't forget to shop So Much Fabric. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell for future new videos. Well, I hope you got inspired to create something extraordinary out of the ordinary.